All right, so Han wins. Han makes it to the semifinals, I think? Quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals.
Hello, McFly.
All right.
I'm salty now, because now we're doing one I didn't when I have to deal with.
We are doing Heath Ledger's Joker versus Breaking Bad's Gustavo Fring from the point of view of character development.
This is the problem here.
Yep.
Gus is a TV character. Of course he has development.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he goes from one place to another throughout his TV run. The Joker starts one place, ends the same place.
But he's so good.
I think it's as simple as that.
There's
Yeah.
very few villains already that have a genuine character development.
Because they're
They're
either there
villains.
for one movie or they're already where they are.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't get redeemed. If they don't get redeemed, then they're just the bad guy who loses at the end.
Yep.
You should have done like Vegeta or MODOK or...
No, he
MODOK.
MODOK. Oh,
Yeah.
because he got redeemed.
Yeah!
I'm an Avenger now, right?
Basically everybody from the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah!
There are some villains that manage a character arc while remaining villains
Like
throughout
Darth Vader.
Well, honestly, I think I've said my piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's a crazy large amount to say beyond that. Like, I think the Joker has incredible motivation. I love his motivation, but
I thought that was
he's
the
the
point. Is
same
we
character.
don't know. It was the same like Jack. Where we
Yeah.
don't know what his actual motivation is outside of it all has to go.
Well, no, he said
That's-
it in the movie. His motivation was to prove that he could. I mean, Batman explains it, I think. Just take the best of us and make him as bad as he is.
Not only to do that, but to prove that you can do that.
Yeah.
It's saying that Batman is just one bad day away from being the Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's and again, going back to the novelty of not knowing what his true motivations are is compelling when we're talking about a character's motivations.
Yeah.
That makes them interesting. However, for development, and again, like you said, it's going to be the problem for this quarter of the bracket with villains, is Joker doesn't really have
Yeah.
any. He doesn't learn anything. He doesn't grow. He doesn't change.
like the problem is like, what if Darth Vader won? We'd still be pretty close to having this discussion about Gus. Because, like, yeah, Vader has an arc, but Gus just has so much more screen time and more time to develop
Mm-hmm.
into
Honestly-
whatever he wants.
Honestly, I say it's actually pretty close if we look at the total run times.
Between
Darth Vader and
Gus.
and Gus.
Oh,
It's
fair.
honestly
Pretty close.
closer than you might think.
So-
I'm Gus.
Fring!
Alright.
I'll give it to you.
It is what it is.
The problem is I don't know much about Gus myself, so I feel bad voting for him. But the problem is I know Joker too well, and I know that I can't vote for him.
Pollos Hermanos. Good chicken.
All
Chicken
right,
Brothers.
we've got Hannibal
Holy shit, that's what
Lecter
that means?
versus GLaDOS for character development.
I'm gonna go with GLaDOS.
Yeah, I don't.
Even if she immediately backpedals on all of it, it was there, and that's what makes it so tragic. Is that she went through that character development solely so she could get back to where she was.
This is another Joker thing for me. Hannibal Lecter's the Joker, but smarter.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have any development as a character. That's what's interesting about really good villains.
Mhm.
Is a really good villain to be a compelling character doesn't need an arc.
Yeah.
Doesn't need character development. They can be perfect from jump.
Yeah.
Those are what are known as pure evil villains.
Mhm.
Like, you don't care at all about anything going on in their past. You care about them being on screen because what they're doing, they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to watch that.
Like this
think
podcast.
Just the camp and the
I-
prestige of them.
Right.
Oh.
I think it also kind of almost hurts the villain the moment that too much of the curtain gets revealed. Like, it's
Yeah.
similar for, like, DMing.
It can.
Like,
Yeah.
if, like, too much of the curtain gets revealed and they start to see the science and the numbers behind it, and, like the writing that was already there, it's like, okay. Like, I guess.
It can turn a hero's story into a tragedy about what could have been.
Yeah.
If done well. But you're right. If you take too much away and you're like, okay, this person just turned into an asshole for no reason.
It's
Yeah.
the Wizard of Oz. Because Oz is the great and powerful, and he's just this...
I like that you're wearing green.
Thank you. Voltron head. That's not his name. Zordon head. Talking to people. With fire. And then just pull the curtain. Oh, hi, I'm some weird guy from
Kansas.
Kansas. I just know how to talk to people.
I think GLaDOS can get it just because of the
Yeah.
Caroline twist in
Yeah.
Portal 2.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. How they
It was amazing.
progressed her character and really dived into her backstory, as well as becoming Potato GLaDOS.
Yeah.
But-
It,
Potato
it
GLaDOS
humbles her a
Mhm.
bit, and she has to work with her arch enemy.
What's Potato GLaDOS?
She's a potato.
Oh, they put her in a... Okay.
The antagonist in Portal 2 usurps her as
Yeah.
the
The
guiding,
machine.
the
Whatever.
leader of the science.
I still
Controller of
I still
Aperture's testing facility.
think back to like that silly moment where he's just too stupid to understand the paradox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yes.
This statement is false. All right, what can we say, guys?
GLaDOS.
Pretty.
I think it's pretty fair.
Like, there's
All right. Let's just power on through, and this is just gonna be a 2-hour episode.
Why not?
I'm
All right,
fine.
here we go.
Fuck it.
All right.
This is how we break the mold.
Yeah.
It's 2-hour episodes from here on out.
For relatability, we have Iron Man versus Deadpool.
Huh.
Okay. This
Okay.
is a conversation we can have.
Yes.
Okay, let's go around. What are some
I had
relatable
my
aspects
bit
for
this
these?
one?
What are some relatable aspects for these?
So for Iron Man, I think we can all understand regret and feeling guilty for our actions.
Regret's going to come up a lot in this
Yeah.
section, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily we can all relate to wanting to improve ourselves and being better people because of our.
I can relate to
I
that.
was waiting for everybody to start laughing, but
No, I was just going to stark silence while you speak the truth.
Well, the crazy thing. Yeah, I mean, I started drinking again last night.
that's my contribution for Iron Man. We can all learn to regret and want to overcome
Yeah,
our
yeah.
imperfect selves.
For Deadpool, I guess if the farthest reaches of my imagination is he wants to learn to get over his own assholeness, which is to say, quite literally, what I see at least is quite literally get over himself and love someone outside of himself.
I really thought that you were going to say, I really relate to Deadpool's want to die.
I mean, I do.
It's relatable. It's very relatable.
Oops.
There are some scenes that I think kind of humanize Deadpool in a very unique way. Because we learn early
Is it
on.
the baby arm?
No, it's in the very. It's one of the very first episodes, or not episodes. One of the very first scenes in the movie, where it's before he's gotten his powers and before he's met. I forget her name, Morena Baccarin. Where he just shows up in some random dude's apartment and orders a pizza because he's.
Baccarin?
That's the actress's name.
Okay.
And he shows up he orders a pizza because he knows the guy who will get it there is his target. And we find out that this guy is a pedophile stalker. This pizza delivery guy. And
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
okay, so
I
at
do.
the very beginning of the first Deadpool movie,
Yeah, let's continue.
he shows up in some guy's bathroom and has a pizza delivered to his door and comes out and he basically puts a gun in this guy's mouth and says, "You have been stalking her for the last 6 months. She has tried to get a restraining order against you and been told no. You're going to leave town or you're never going to get that, you're never going to bother anyone ever again." And this is a bounty on this guy. Like, he has money on his head for this. And he gives it to the girl after that.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, what's relatable about this?
He's sure.
It's not necessarily
sure?
relatable, but humanizing.
Yeah.
He's not just wacky, chaotic.
Like,
Right.
he's not just a full fourth wall break. There is genuinely trying to be a good person every once in a while in there.
I will say that something that I relate to with Deadpool is actually how well that they showcase his pain
Right.
in the second one more so than the first one.
Hmm.
Because, like, something that I look back to, not that I have actual, like, suicidal thoughts or anything before I go about this one, but when the scene happens, his girlfriend gets shot, like, right after, like, they talk about having kids and starting a family. And, like, he hunts everybody down. He gets to the last guy, and he's, like, hugging him for a second, and then just turns into traffic, and, like, they get ran over. And, spoiler alert, he lives because he can't die. But, like, from that point on, he's like, I just wish I could die. Like, everybody, I think, goes through a time where that thing that's really important to them, that thing that's driving them through like their day-to-day lives, disappears or moves on or something.
Oh, right.
There's
So
always-
this section of the tournament's going to be a huge fucking bummer.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Well, I think Kyle's convinced me to go with Iron Man.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
Okay.
Because Deadpool lost all the relatability points when he let the pedophile live.
Okay.
my
That's fair.
I relate to Iron Man solely because I like his snark. He genuinely sees the humor in any situation, and I think that's very similar to
Even
a lot of us.
like the quip that happened where Thor's like, well, nobody has to break anything, and Ultron's like, clearly you've never made an omelet.
Yeah.
And he's like, he beat me by 1 second. Like, they're in such a serious scenario right there. It's beautiful. Or like when he's fighting the Hulk. It's fun. I enjoy it.
In defense of
I relate to when he's fighting the Hulk.
in
Go to sleep,
defense
go to
of
sleep, go to
Deadpool, I view his relatability in Found Family.
Okay.
Oh,
So
we didn't even.
so
that's
he's
a good
an
point.
he's an outcast, pretty much. He's a part of this underground hitman thing, and he's always on the Deadpool. Like, who's the next person gonna die? Well, it's obviously gonna be
Wade.
and nobody really likes him there. But he finds somebody he can be himself with, and she can be herself with, and then she's gone.
Yeah.
And then he he technically rediscovers the X-Men, and they take him in, and now he has a newfound family. And frankly, that's what you guys are.
Oh,
And I'm
Pervert.
like,
Colossus is a good friend.
Colossus is way too good of a friend.
Well, I think it's going to be a split
But
ticket.
Iron Man.
but it's gonna be Iron Man.
Oh.
Oh, well,
Okay.
Well, now I feel bad. I feel like I should vote for Deadpool because of that.
I wanted to defend him.
All right. Well,
Honestly, it's kind of hard to relate to either of the characters. It can go either way very easily.
broad strokes, it's hard to relate
Well,
to either of them because
Kyle-
I'm not a billionaire.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have super cancer and
No,
immortality.
But you like to put on
I
a
am
suit
bald.
of cold iron so no one can tell your emotions.
a metaphorical suit of cold iron.
No, I just can't take that off.
Ah, yes. A penance.
So,
Iron Man wins the superhero bracket, it seems.
I'm okay with this.
I thought it was going to happen. Iron Man versus who, I wonder?
This is about to get real good.
for relatability, Kratos versus Arthur Morgan.
Oh, baby!
Oh,
Again,
man.
it's regret.
Sure.
a lot of regret.
I guess the most relatable thing that I find about Arthur is that just drive to want to help the people around you, but maybe not being good enough a lot of the time. With Kratos,
Again has that want to be better, especially in the 4th and 5th game.
mm-hmm.
Specifically in the 4th game, I actually relate a lot to him being very closed off and not wanting to open up to his son. You see those numerous moments where, he goes to reach out to him and he's like, that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I almost even see it as I don't deserve to be that guy.
Yeah. Like, he's done so much shit wrong. Like, he's messed up. People can be failures and whatever. But, like, I relate to him, like, not being so willing to open up to his kid.
And I see it almost like he, again, like I was saying with Deadpool, gets the fuck over himself and is like, I don't give a fuck if I don't deserve to be that guy. He needs a good dad.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
One of the things that comes up, I won't spoil anything if I can avoid it for the 5th one. One of the things that I think is coming from that original position of stepping back after trying something is he's contemplating, I destroyed the world.
Mm-hmm.
What advice could I give him that isn't going to result in the same thing? Am I even the right person to give him advice here?
Rewinding a bit, how it is very fucking relatable to just be blindly angry at something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna go a different way with how relatable that is.
Yeah.
It's determination. I'm not letting anything stop me from my goal because that goal is so important to me.
Right.
Like,
And my goal is to
And-
get to 2,000 subscribers.
But I've definitely let my insecurities and my ability to get in my own way get in my way.
Yeah.
And just looking at somebody who can just not have that is...
I'll go ahead and make a defense for Arthur here.
Yeah, I was waiting for
And
it.
say-
I thought this was Joel.
No, it's Arthur.
Oh, it is
Arthur
Arthur.
won.
Oh, okay.
So Arthur,
Sorry.
I can definitely understand a character who is
Has tuberculosis.
he has I do have TB. So I can definitely understand a character who is moving through life kind of on autopilot. He starts to understand that what Dutch and Micah are doing is wrong, but he also doesn't know how to change the problems in his life. And so instead of figuring out how to change the problems in his life, he just kind of keeps moving forwards and kind of kicking the can down the
He
road.
just sticks to what he knows.
He sticks to what he knows. It's easier to just not change things than to change them.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of something that happened to me a couple of years ago. So I've seen that scene where he gets the diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
and that rings home for me really heavily. For the scenario is a little bit different, but this was back when I was in college. We were in the apartment, and Mom had made had scheduled something to drop me off some stew, and she's like, "I'll drop it off at like 7 or whatever." So I get. I'm watching a show, I'm doing laundry, and I get a knock on the door, and it's Mom and Dad. And Mom's not ever brought Dad over to the apartment for any particular reason. And, I say hi and everything, and they take me out into the hallway. And they're asking me how I'm doing, and then Mom drops that she has cancer.
Yeah.
And I can relate so heavily to that just kind of like, fuck moment that Arthur has of, because I just straight shut off. My initial instinct was, okay, I can't feel anything right now. I need to find some way to fix this. And I sat there for damn near a full minute, not able to articulate a word.
You beat
until
me to the
until I was able to say, okay, what do we do?
I think part of the reason that whole scene hits me pretty good, this is going to be one of those, okay? You're just going to have to deal with it. We're getting naked here.
You opened a can of worms.
There's nobody
Already
here
done.
at this table that doesn't understand that feeling of, it's like I said before, you were informed of some sort of earth-shattering thing that is so personal to you that you can feel the goalpost moving
Mm-hmm.
for your own life. And I think Arthur just won it for me. There's just that scene was so well executed for me, and I just felt it. Whether I was conscious of why I was feeling what I was feeling or not, I felt it. I felt what he was feeling, and I think that does it for me.
I think another reason why things like those moments are really relatable, and this category alone really hits in the video game area,
Mhm.
because
You are that
you
guy.
have now played Arthur Morgan for the last probably 20 or 30 hours.
I decided what he did before this.
When in God of War 4, when Atreus, gets sick, you're Kratos carrying your child. Like, you are owning that character at that moment that you've been playing for so long. It's these moments that you're relating to them, and you're like, it's not Arthur has tuberculosis. For me, it was, wow,
I just got TBB.
I have TB.
Yeah.
It wasn't, what is Arthur going to do now? It's, what the fuck am I going to do now?
Well, I think that that kind of sums it up. I had a little bit more, but I don't know how much more convincing I need to do.
Chris?
So Arthur, yep.
Arthur for me.
Just not gonna...
Oh,
I'm gonna push aside my personal trauma, and we're just gonna keep going.
All right.
All right, Arthur it is.
Yep.
Let's see. We have Elizabeth Bennet versus Han Solo. Take it away, Chris.
I mean,
Sell us.
I can't really relate to...
how hot was the guy?
It was Hugh Grant, wasn't it? Or no, it wasn't Hugh Grant. It was
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a very attractive man.
Oh.
So...
Get your phone.
oh, shit.
And remember, this is young Colin Firth.
Maybe we should walk through just a quick overview. Motivation.
Motivation, and she has to be the first daughter out the door.
Character development. She learns to love Mr. Darcy over the course of... learns to get over her own pride and prejudices to love this man who is so in love with her.
Yeah.
Even though he has no right to be in her eyes, maybe? I don't know.
He has no... there's no advantage to loving her.
Sure.
He can be perfectly fine without her.
Exactly. He must be loving her for her. And then the third one was what? Relatability.
See, if she was the one in pursuit or wanting a relationship and never finding one, I guess the most relatable thing for me is because at this point, at the beginning of it is like, she's the oldest and she's not out yet, which is a big problem because she might just become a spinster, which is not good in that time period.
Get some cats.
I have let things in my life slip to the point where I look at people around me doing the same things.
This is what you do, John. This is what your corners do to us.
They're so much younger than me.
I feel that.
Because
hardcore.
I get to be like, I have a bachelor's. It took me 8 years to get a 4-year degree. I was taking classes with people straight out of high school because I could not buckle down and be what I needed to be to do that. And that is the relatability.
For you?
Yeah.
I don't
For
relate
realizing that you've gotten to a point in your life where you are behind.
Yes.
I don't relate to her because I don't have a munch.
My bad. I had mine installed last week.
So Han Solo. No. Well,
Oh man.
I will say this. We've talked Han Solo to death even just today. Personally, I just prefer the way his narrative is presented.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not I'm the one voting here. I don't care for romance stories, especially when they're the A plot.
The crux of the story.
So I think with that, I have...
It's a lot more relatable for the B and C plots going on.
Yeah. I have no recourse other than to vote for Han.
I look at everything that I've heard about Pride and Prejudice up to this point, and like one of the key things I keep hearing you go back to is that she's the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
That there's things that she has to do
Yeah,
before others can move on.
Yeah.
And
Bro, I'm the youngest one in my family.
That's a really good
And you're
point.
still behind.
Damn right.
Fuck.
Always will be.
None of us are the oldest one.
But that being said, I think I'm just a sucker for the swindler. Like the guy who's like coming in like already dirty. Like he's not clean right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the reason why part of the reason why like I like Joel at the beginning. It's part of the reason why I really like Arthur and John Morgan. Like John Morgan.
Who?
John Marston.
I had no idea who you were
I never
talking
played the game. Tuberculosis. No, but like I think it's the reason why like I really like these characters is because like they're not perfect and they're already humanized right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I think you've kind of swayed me because I've kind of been primed this whole discussion to think about like the really dramatic personal points that you could relate to a character, whereas Han Solo kind of introduces some of those just like fun characteristics, like always having a quip, not taking things too seriously, buckling down when it matters,
I
doing the
quite
right thing.
literally just watched 4, 5, and 6 the past 2 days, and I just smile every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah. Also, that scene in the detention cell when he's talking over the mic and he totally bombs it and says, "How are you?"
Who cannot relate to that?
Everybody has been in that situation where they've just said the absolute wrong thing at the wrong time. I guess I'll go with Han then.
I'm not going to even make a decision at this point.
Hey,
What was your vote, Chris?
I wasn't swayed.
You were going to go with Elizabeth?
Yep. Well, you guys just said likability. He's the only one who actually said something that's relatable, and that's socially
This
awkwardness.
isn't relatable. This is all three.
No, this is relatability
This
still.
this is
Yeah.
specifically relatability still.
Whoa. Oh,
Shit.
my bad. I thought we were in the next part where it's all three.
No.
You just took
That's
a
why
dump
I
on the
started
table.
with like let's walk through all three of them. Didn't we just talk about Elizabeth relatability?
No,
No.
we talked about her
Character
with development.
Where the fuck am I?
You're in the next round.
Yeah.
We're,
I know.
We're
like,
recording a podcast.
What am I doing?
Okay, let's move on down to the villains bracket.
Well, it's 2-1. Oh, 3-1. Well,
It was
what,
it
John,
was,
I
it was
said
3-1.
you said- okay.
What did you choose?
I didn't choose anything because you guys had already won, and I
What
didn't
do you-
feel like making a decision between these.
But
I
what
was-
you would choose right now?
I don't have either one of them. I don't relate to either
All right,
character.
it's a 3-1-1.
Cool.
I was this close to picking Elizabeth.
To tying it up.
I was really kind of hoping that she would get
my
the...
yeah.
All right. So, for relatability, we have Gus versus GLaDOS.
Well, I'm not a black man.
He's
neither is
not.
he.
Is he not? Oh,
He's
No.
Chilean, I believe.
I can't even spell that.
I guess the thing you would relate to with Gus is he does appear human despite himself.
Mhm.
He's one of those types that wants to be bigger than he is and ends up being bigger than he is. But he has these little things that bleed through when the heat's on. And
You can't keep the mask up the entire time.
yeah, exactly. And I guess the most relatable thing to him for me is just he's just not that relatable.
Yeah.
And that is a bit relatable. As weird as that might sound.
I get where you're coming from.
He comes off as this type that doesn't quite fit right in, and I get the impression that he saw that and stood on top instead, rather than among the masses.
Okay.
Okay.
I will lean over to GLaDOS here from a very specific aspect of something that we all appreciate. GLaDOS is the DM who has gone way too far.
Mm.
And then let the power get to their head.
A
and
rogue DM.
And every once in a while, we will have those moments as DMs where we could go, I can play such games with you guys. And every once in a while, it's like, can I take that step? And it would always be fun to turn into the GLaDOS. And that's why I'm going to pick her here.
Wow, you're not even going to listen to anybody else, huh?
No.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, I think I'm the only one who can even talk about Gus.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything
I
about
was gonna
Gus.
let you. I was gonna let you keep though. I would listen to you.
Yeah.
I wanted you to.
There's
say
not a
that.
lot to say as far as relatability goes. Like I said, he wants revenge. He loved his man,
Mhm.
and his man is gone now.
A point that Cody made about Arthur, in the sense that was it Arthur?
Arthur?
Where he kind of just would shut down and he just did what he knew.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of. I think anybody who's gotten to the point where they've had a stale job and they don't care about their job anymore, they're just going in, day out. You have that shut off where you just go in, here's more tests, we're doing tests, we do the next step, the next day you test again.
Okay, yeah.
And she quite literally is that working robot. That's what all those people who burn out of their jobs become. They don't want to move on to the next job because they have that base, that safe spot with this job, that safety net. And so obviously she can't because she's a robot. But I think that's where relatability almost ends for me.
The insanity of the monotony.
Well, for me, GLaDOS is having fun.
I don't even know if that's
Are
the
you
case.
sure? Or is she just programmed to have fun?
I don't even know if
See,
she's having fun or even programmed.
this
She
is,
seems to be hating it, right?
She kind of does.
This
I think
is-
the only reason I think she torments Chell just because it's the only levity she
It reminds
has
me of
in her.
Am
Yeah. I wonder, it had to have been an
Little bit. a
inspiration.
little bit.
I guess this is me taking off my bonnet in the fact that I've not played
Great job.
Portal or
Or
Portal
Portal.
2.
Didn't you buy it on the Switch?
He did.
I have it. I haven't played it yet.
I think you played it more than he did.
Probably.
I watched you play it more than I played it.
Continue.
And I haven't watched the Pollos Hermanos vehicle that is Breaking Bad. I love chicken. I still think about chicken.
Okay, that might be something relatable with Gus.
Yeah, he makes a good fried chicken.
Sure.
Does he spike it with cocaine?
It's meth, and no.
Oh.
But I did just think, while you were sputtering to yourself, I did just think of another thing that somebody could latch onto. I'm just going to put everything on the table that I can. He is an excellent example of the dichotomy of self. The person that you are and the person that you present. And with a villain like him, the interesting thing is the stark contrast between the two. The person he shows off is a selfless humanitarian who like donates and to charity and whatever the fuck, and he's like an active member of his community, and he operates under the gumption that he wants to better humanity, that kind of shit. But his true self is a very vapid and vain man who wants to be the one who distributes the best meth in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to reap the benefits of that business. But obviously that's not the person. And everybody on this table has a self that they project and a self that they actually are,
Sure.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of I guess that the reason I'm putting that in the ring is that is one of his defining characteristics is the contrast between those selves.
I like that.
I'm glad you put that in there, because I was already kind of settled towards Gladys, but now I think I need a minute.
I think I'm swayed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
What's
honestly
everybody's-
don't know who.
Because, like,
I have decided.
yeah. We're going to go with Gus.
You're going to go with Gus?
I'm going to go with Gus.
I'm sticking with GLaDOS. I still think that sheer amount of control and trying to be, and your comment about the monotony getting to you after a while, and to a certain extent not even having a choice in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody would go a little bit crazy.
Like,
Cody?
I'm gonna pick GLaDOS.
see, it's the...
Comes down to us.
It's,
I'm going last.
It's the it's the Eastern philosophy and the Tao and Buddhist beliefs that really set home the inner self and outer self
Mm-hmm.
of Scott.
Everything that you were telling. Okay, yeah, all right. Yep, nope, gotcha.
What on God's flat earth are you talking
No
about?
idea. Just nod.
8 years of college, I had a lot of filler courses.
Oh, you were vamping?
Yeah.
That's what college is.
I think I'm
Yeah, just vamping.
One big vamp.
Why did you do a jerk-off motion?
That's vamping.
I'm
in
going
my
with
opinion.
GLaDOS now because he's scaring me.
Oh,
All right.
Fuck.
With that in mind, I think I'm going to go with Gus.
Would you have gone with GLaDOS if I said Gus?
No. I think
Okay.
I think I've
I
settled on
respect that.
Gus.
That a boy.
Honestly, in all reality, it was a straight-up coin flip for me.
Yeah.
Probably
I feel
one
like
of the
both
closest
them are really
ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right.
We're in the final
Semi-finals.
four, boys.
We have open debates for Iron Man versus Arthur Morgan.
Okay.
Who is the better character?
Now we can do the thing that I did with Elizabeth, where we walk through just a quick run through of their
Everything's.
motivation for Iron Man. Go.
Motivation for Iron Man is he found out the consequences of his actions were hurting people, and he is doing everything he can to make up for those inequities.
So correct past mistakes and be better.
Development.
Deve-
I think the main points we landed on with him were, if we were to, like, the thing that appeared in my head was, if we just watched Iron Man 1 and then skipped all the way to the end game, we'd be like,
What
that's not the fucking guy that I just watched.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if I watch it all the way through, I buy it all.
Yeah.
The short and sweet for character development is Tony's suits are a metaphor for his character development.
Sure.
All the mistakes that he makes are improved upon or fixed in subsequent suits.
God damn, I love that. And finally, relatability.
Relatability.
Regrets, there was one of those.
Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. I relate to all three of those things.
I fuck bitches all day.
I blow thousands of dollars on Monopoly.
I built a giant robot in a cave.
Wow.
What's
box-
grass? Let's move on to the next guy. Who was it, Arthur?
Arthur. Motivation.
Motivation.
Arthur's motivation is to do what's best for the gang.
I think, again, it's that, and I think it's from the back half of the game, it's just to, I guess, be better.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even leave the world better than...
Yeah.
I think have purpose.
Yeah.
I think he realizes that
God,
I'm gonna die, and my life didn't mean a thing.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on the really big train scene with Sister. What's her name?
But yeah,
Cervantes.
I can't remember.
I know I'm afraid.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
And it was
guess.
just, I just don't believe in nothing.
Yep.
Like,
God damn it.
so
It's a bit of a travesty that we
But
have
that
to
line's
mention.
relatable.
to leave the world in a better spot, I think is another one. And then, as for relatability, I want to make a joke here, but like, I love how serious of a tone it brings
Mhm.
right now. I'm forcing myself to be mature.
That is something that
And this
Arthur had
sucks.
to do.
But yeah, it is something he had to do. As for relatability, I mean, everybody here has friends. He's friends and family with a lot of the people
Mhm.
that were in that gang, and the ones that he wasn't friends with, he kicked out.
It's
but-
yet another found family thing that Chris
Yeah.
was plattering on about before.
Common theme. It's why the Fast and Furious movies are so popular.
So how are we gonna do this? I think I'm just gonna say I'm leaning towards Arthur right now.
If it's just down to which character do I like more, I'm gonna go with Arthur.
I'd probably have to pick Iron Man, even though I would probably prefer Arthur if I had the opportunity.
Well, that's
to
what I'm
play
gonna
the game.
say. Somebody sway me.
I agree with you, so
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm very close to. I'm the scale's balanced, but it's leaning towards Arthur for me. I think with Iron Man, you can almost really like compare and contrast the two very closely together, because where Arthur had the gang, Iron Man had the Avengers.
That is
Arthur split the gang in the middle, right at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man forced everybody to either sign the treaty or they were no longer an Avenger. He broke up the family.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of similarities here that can come up. At the very end, Arthur died doing what he thought was right.
Yeah.
At the very end of Endgame, Iron Man died doing what he thought was right, trying to end the fight.
Here's the thing that I'll push back on. Those are very good parallels. However, the reason that Tony broke up the gang is because he couldn't find a compromise that satisfied everybody.
Yeah.
The reason that Arthur breaks up the gang is because if he didn't, everybody was going to end up dead.
Yep.
And it was his compassion and his love for his found family that made him realize we're better on our own. No matter how bad things get, if we stay with Dutch, we're going to end up worse.
This makes me worry for the finals because the thoughts entering my head right now are pretty much boiling down to I think Arthur wins because the way the narrative is presented is better. And by that I mean I was Arthur. I saw Iron Man.
I was going to bring that up. Is Arthur is in a very unique position that no matter how many movies you watch, Arthur is a video game character that you are controlling, and so your experience with that character is much more personal and much more intrinsic to the experience.
Chris, you're in a good position. You've never, same as Kyle, you've never played the game.
Well, like, I want to give it to Iron Man because he breaks up the family because he still has issues that he cannot resolve with himself, and that leads to that breakup.
Okay. It's not
He-
necessarily his fault.
No, but he still has character development to go.
That's interesting.
The breakup of the family for Arthur comes, I'm guessing, to the end
At the end of his
of
arc. Yeah.
his journey. And Iron Man's still right in the middle of it. And so we get to see how that affects him. Because when at the beginning of Endgame, and he's shriveled
Mm.
from the space flight,
and terrified.
and he is terrified, and he sees Cap, and he's like, all this built up aggression towards Cap just comes out because I I can't anymore. And he is just defeated. And he leaves and retires.
Yeah.
And he has to be brought back to finish the day.
This is a classic bit that's occurred in this podcast. You've convinced me more for Arthur.
Yeah.
If we keep talking about the breaking up of the family, right? I think the analogy would be, for Arthur, Mom died, and Dad still wants everybody together, but Dad's leading all of us off the road.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur, the oldest brother, is like, guys, we need to get out of here before he drives us off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man is Mom and Dad getting a divorce. Mom is like, I'm trying to make sure everything stays right, and Dad's just like, I just don't love you anymore.
That's a very strange analogy.
Well, that's what I'm
works,
picking
though.
up.
It works.
It does work.
And I think with that in my head, I think it's more compelling for the little brother, or the oldest brother, trying to usurp his father to help for the benefit of his family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but it weirdly took me just now towards fucking A Tale of Two Sons. Because you talked a lot about the older brother and that. And I'm wondering if I'm just paying attention more so to the idea that the oldest in the family, or, the one who holds that responsibility behind the father figure, is just expected to step up. Because now that I think about it, there's multiple things that I've seen where, the older brother dies. But he dies trying to help fix everything, or whatever. I'm trying to narrow it down. I think overall I'm gonna go with Arthur as well.
Okay. I'm taking a slightly different approach here. I unfortunately have not played Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did you play the Iron Man 2 video game?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard the flight mechanics tonight were amazing.
It was pretty good.
You swayed me, Iron Man.
But here's what I will say. I'm going to look at this entire semifinals round as a whole, rather than, because I think I know what my answer for the next one is going to be as well. And I want to present this argument to you guys. This is going to pertain primarily to the five of us. And I think I'm going to end up stepping over here for Arthur. Primarily because I think for the five of us, video games are a better medium for storytelling than movies are anymore. There is so much more you can do with a video game that just is impossible with a movie.
It reminds me of
The
Last of Us.
Yeah, it's the same as...
Like, you can't make choices in a movie that affect the story. The story is what it is. The character is who they are and who they will be. They're locked in stone. But there is a connection with a video game character that you cannot get from a movie in any way whatsoever, regardless of how good that movie character is. And I think you guys ended up swaying me for Arthur. I might have tried to make an argument for Iron Man, but at the end of the day, Iron Man is going to be a static character if we look in the fourth dimension.
Right.
Arthur is pretty similar, but there is nuance that you can get to make an improved story that is personal to you in a way that you can't do in a movie.
I mean, that's my exact experience, was I felt that at the beginning of his story, Arthur would be a bad guy. And so I made him a bad guy to make his redemption arc that much greater.
Mm.
So, beside the point of medium, Kyle, I am leaning towards Arthur.
Like a clean sweep.
It's what it's looking like.
I think Arthur's the more complete character.
Yeah, and it's because of that. He's a nice rounded package at the end of it. But with what you were saying about medium, movies and television reflect real life in that my choices and my actions,
I can't go back and change them.
do not affect Cody. I can't change Cody. I have to just watch what Cody does.
That's very self-centered of you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you could definitely affect...
You said your actions doesn't affect them?
Yeah, I did. I disagree with that.
So, like,
I've almost
it's
killed
not...
4 of my...
What I mean by that is, like, I have to just...
You can't make me do something.
Yeah, but can watch that, and I see how that goes.
But you could influence it. You can't make the decision for him, but you could always do something that changes his mind.
I mean, Scott's been swayed the
Then-
opposite way.
Yeah, how many times
today.
have you
Then-
changed Scott's mind here?
Then give me a video game where it's somebody going on a path, and I have to put things in their path.
Clop.
Shit,
What's,
you're right.
what's that one? I think it's called Overlord or something, where you build a dungeon.
Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like
Fortnite. Actually, people literally do that
That's
in Fortnite.
that's a good
Oh
point.
shit!
I feel like we've all made our decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And we're just
Arthur is the clean sweep.
all right. Last one. I think this is gonna be a lot quicker. Han Solo versus GLaDOS.
I mean,
I think Gladys is the more complete character.
I think
I'm
you
gonna
might
be-
disagree with me on this one. There's just not a lot to GLaDOS for me.
it's the villain versus the hero problem.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
hero just has more character.
And that's true. And I will say, as a DM, I am the villain all the time. But I'm just entertained more by GLaDOS.
Hmm.
And yes, she's not as good as of a character, I would say, but a character in a show or a game is there to be entertaining because they are there for entertainment.
This
See,
reminds me of
I'm
And-
kind of the opposite.
And I would go, personally, GLaDOS entertains me more.
I understand that they are both written as comedic characters, but if you put up Han Solo in the detention center on the intercom against anything that GLaDOS did, I'm not going to laugh more. And I love GLaDOS. I think she's very funny. She's a very well written character. But if we're talking about pure entertainment value, I think Han's better.
This reminds me of a conversation that Cody and I had a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, I think, when we were just talking about I think it was in prep for this tournament before you had picked all the seeds. We were talking about like who is the best video game villains you can even think of.
Mm-hmm.
And the two names that came up were Handsome Jack and GLaDOS.
They're assholes and they're having fun doing it.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that really settled, I think we both kind of settled on this, was we want them to talk to us because A, we learn something, and B, it entertains us whenever they speak to us. So whenever they start speaking, we're like, yeah, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, they're talking to me. Like you're trying to get the attention of a girl. And,
Fuck.
but I don't think that's enough for GLaDOS to win for me. She's entertaining, but it's like you said, this is just what character I prefer the most, what character I think has the best. The way I've been looking at it is, how is their narrative presented to me better than the other guy? And I think it's Han.
See, I like the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia argument, where it's great entertainment. Watching assholes just be assholes, right? But nothing beats Han being there for Luke in episode 5 on Hoth and, like, saving him.
And I thought they smelled bad on the outside. That's what he says. That's the line from the movie.
If I was only looking at GLaDOS from the first game, it would be Han all day. Absolutely. But to your point, Kyle, where you use DMing as a reference, you said you always play the villain. You always play the bad guy. And I think a character is most fun when you don't fully recognize them as the bad guy. And I think that's where I have a lot of fun as the DM, is playing a character where Scott's like, I don't know, can I trust this guy? But he's always seeming to be around, and you know, it's mysterious. Like, you know, GLaDOS from the first game as the villain that tried to kill you
Multiple times.
then becoming vulnerable, and then a potato, and then like you go on this long journey with her where a lot of the curtains revealed, she's still not your ally. Like,
No.
she still fucking hates you.
Your
That-
goals have aligned.
That is interesting that
I,
GLaDOS' character doesn't really change all that much in the second game, but you do start to sympathize with her more and get a more positive disposition, even though she still doesn't like you.
So that's not character development.
Well,
That's the
hold on.
audience.
I'm going to push
developing.
back on that. The song says it differently. Now I
Oh,
only
yeah.
want you gone.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she does when she regains power.
Yeah.
She just
Just
immediately
say like, "Hey, get out of here."
and that
You're
could
free
just
to
be
go.
blind pragmatism speaking. But I'm with you as the DM thing there. It's like for a part of Portal 2, she is that kind of there is nuance to the bad guy that you can't normally get out of a pure
Mhm.
evil villain, which is a lot of fun to also
I have the
explore.
most fun with characters when the lines are blurred.
Right.
The only problem here is Han Solo's line is blurred, but still as a good guy.
It explains your love of the scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, like, this guy's currently on my team. I don't know if he's gonna betray me when we go to the next room, but
Almost
right now
cer-
he's good.
Almost certainly will, as soon as it benefits him.
Yeah.
And that does also add a lot of intensity and tension and drama
Yeah.
to a story. Is he going to betray me? When is he going to betray me? You know, how long can I stay with this guy?
Now that I think about it, I think that's part of the reason I really loved having Ardell as an NPC in your guys' Lighthouse adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he was a driving force for you guys to keep going in that direction. But, like, throughout the whole thing, like, there were hints that he was never really your ally.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, oh, if you're interested, go back to episode 9, I think, to
Fuck
Whichever
episode
one's
one.
got the big lighthouse on it.
And the three people
That was
standing there.
that was fantastic just to listen to your guys' recounting of that. I wish I was there for that.
It did feel like, I mean, I understand that we were just, this is a complete tangent. I understand that we were just playing a one-shot game of D&D, and it's like, well, if we want the game to keep going, we have to stay with Ardell. But it really did feel like, is money the only thing motivating my
Exactly.
character to continue through this? As I'm thinking about it now in retrospect, I'm thinking, no, I don't think it was. So what was it? It's almost like the environment itself was keeping me moving through it.
We were a boulder rolling down a hill.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at a certain point, the journey itself picked up momentum in a way inside each person's head. It's
Journey
like,
before destination.
I'd even say it was something more akin to, I don't want to be here, but I can't turn around.
Mm.
right? It's like if you're caving. If you get stuck, you have to go forward
You know
because
what
you
it
can't
fucking
go
is?
backwards.
This is like such a. I just got chills a little bit thinking about this. It's like we went into that cave and started going down, and then we just instinctively knew something fucked up is down there. And if I turn my back, it's like turning my back on a lion.
Oh, I never even thought of it that
yeah.
way. Better to face it than to turn away. Yeah, it really did feel like there was some dark presence pushing us,
Pussing.
pussyfooting around and pushing us through that cave.
It's better to die with courage.
It's
I
not
don't even
even
know.
that.
I don't even know if it was courage.
It's self-preservation.
Honestly, it was. I don't even know what it was, and I know I'm just adding all this like post hoc significance to that.
So Ardell wins the tournament, or
I think Ardell goes on to the finals.
Han?
Han.
For brevity, I'll go with Han.
I'm sticking with GLaDOS.
Solo.
All right.
I'll be wrong.
I don't think
That's-
either is
that's
really
very
a wrong
adult of
choice
you, Kyle.
here. But I think both were good.
All right.
Yeah.
The championship. We've already heard all of the discussions. We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Fuck yeah!
Woo!
Actually,
This literally came down to what I said it was going to be. The movie versus the video game.
Yep.
So, we've got Arthur Morgan versus Han Solo. Who is the best fictional character?
They're honestly fairly similar. Both
Mhm.
like scoundrelly types.
I've already made my decision.
I've made my decision.
Yeah.
I don't think we even need open discussion at this point.
well, I'm gonna milk this for a little bit longer. Even though
Go
we're at
for
2
it.
minutes and 15 minutes.
I mean, what are
2
we gonna
hours, 15
do?
minutes.
Do it.
Oh, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes? Oh, fuck. Or the difference between it's 2 hours and 30 minutes?
I knew when I made the video game bracket,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's gonna be Kratos, Joel, or Arthur Morgan that makes it to the finals.
Well, those are 3/8 of the participants. so.
yeah, you
the
almost
finals.
did.
Oh,
3 of 16.
Mm,
Yeah. It was either them or goddamn Captain America.
Uh-oh.
No, but like, I knew it was gonna be one of those three. But when it came to the right side bracket, I'm like, who? Who the fuck is this about to be?
Mm-hmm.
There were so many choices, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't know if somebody's going to present a really good argument that's somehow going to bring fucking Captain Jack Sparrow all the way to the end.
In a vacuum, if you would just show me the brackets without like the criteria for the different rounds, I'd been like, oh, it's going to be Darth Vader and probably maybe Iron Man. Maybe I could see Arthur or Joel winning. It'd be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really interesting to see how this plays out if we switch around the criteria.
Yeah.
Even the same 3 criteria.
Or if we just put them at the end and we do open debate for the first 2.
Oh, man.
Oh no, I like the open date for the final for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were trying to say something,
Yes.
and all of us interrupted you.
No, I'd finished my thought pretty much. I wasn't sure who was going to make it to the finals on the right side of the bracket.
Oh, okay.
I had a good idea who was going to make it on the left.
And you were right.
I'm surprised GLaDOS made it to the
Yeah,
semifinals.
same.
I have 2.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, is like, when this is all said and done, like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be like, I'm surprised this person made it this far. Or, I'm surprised Keira Knightley, didn't make it to the finals,
Yeah.
or shit like that. All in all, before we say our final votes, I gotta say, I'm glad I made this corner, and I have had so much fun doing this.
Absolutely.
Me too.
This has
Oh,
been a
yeah.
great time.
Well,
Kyle, what's your vote?
For
Let's
this
do a
one,
star.
has to be Arthur. Period.
It's Arthur for me, man.
Mr. Morgan?
Arthur! He's a clean sweep!
Clean sweep in the semifinals and the finals.
Good lord.
Dude.
Like I
God
said,
bless.
What seed
I
was he?
fucking said it.
2.
Video games are a better medium for our storytelling. For the stories we want, that's where we're gonna get them.
It's
And
Gen
that's
Z.
why Commander Shepard lost in the first round.
all right.
Hell
We don't
yeah.
need it. We don't need any fancy ending.
I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Please, for the love of God. Oh.
Oh, I have a fun thing to end on.
Yeah.
When I was little, I thought tuberculosis was testicular cancer.
Is it not?
So when you heard that Arthur got that diagnosis, you're like, that was odd that he looked at his throat.
Maybe you can see all the way down.
Wow.
Oh,
Is that how this works?
Well, I hope you
Anyways.
guys enjoyed that.
Leave a
feel-
comment about who you guys think would have won.
Please, for the love of God, do that.
Cody, can you please post? I have to give you my bracket. Can you post my bracket and all the stuff I put in there somewhere? I don't care where.
Yeah, sure.
Just like alone, my bracket came out very different than your guys'.
Yeah, well,
Here's what you can do. You can leave a comment on the video
oh.
with all of your picks.
And then he'll read the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, he will.
He will do that.
I feel
We'll do
refreshed.
that. Oh, yeah. This was great.
I feel haggard. Like we
I
just
am
went 15 rounds.
Exhausted.
I feel great.
like
Like
Daryl?
these conversations make me feel empty, which is to say, it's like pissing,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
something I say often.
Yeah.
I feel like I've pissed all of my thoughts away, and I was heard.
Yeah, you pissed all over us.
Yeah,
Well,
And I thanked you for some of it.
yeah.
I was mouth ajar, ready for it.
Agape is the word you're looking for.
A jar is where you preserve jams and jelly.
Oh, well.
See you later, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.